Kashmir is beautiful. Any note on Kashmir begins with this line, and why not? The beauty of Kashmir has been acknowledged by nature lovers all across the world.
ऐसा सुना था कि कश्मीर जन्नत है, तो वाकई में कश्मीर जन्नत है।
कश्मीर में अगर बर्फ नहीं होगी तो हमारा गुजरान कुछ भी नहीं होगा। क्यों? पानी की हमें कमी हो जाएगी, हर एक चीज की हमें कमी हो जाती है।
बर्फ इतनी पड़ती थी कि कहीं किसी वक्त 5 फुट, किसी वक्त 7 फुट और 8 फुट से लेकर 10 फुट तक बर्फ पड़ती थी।
फल फूल था, सेब के दरख्त थे, उनको बहुत बड़ा नुकसान हुआ। जंगलों में भी बहुत बड़ा नुकसान हुआ।
Better climate means better health, and better health signifies better life. The Indian Himalayan region is one of the most vulnerable mountain systems in the world. Being a mountainous region, we are most susceptible to climate change and global warming. Jammu and Kashmir is the third most vulnerable to climate change in India. Only a naturally balanced climate can rescue us from the trouble we are in. Any further imbalance will make it irreparably dangerous.
We are seeing some of the winters we have seen in the last 1 decade, they were snowless cyclones, or they were very harsh. So some year it is very harsh, some year it is almost dry. So this unpredictability in the weather, this unpredictability in the climate is basically an indicator of the climate change. This indicates that this is climate change.
यहाँ पर कश्मीर में बर्फ होनी चाहिए, जरूर होनी चाहिए। क्यों? अगर ये नहीं होगी फिर हमारा गुजरान नहीं होता है।
But there is a darker side to the snow too. Sometimes a heavy and premature snowfall causes a lot of damage to chinars and apple trees. That is really challenging for those who are associated with the fruit business.
इस साल बहुत बड़ा नुकसान हुआ। पहली बर्फ आने से पत्तों पर जब बर्फ आई, धोखा मिल गया।
How do climatologists see premature snowfall as a seasonal phenomenon?
Snowfall in first week of November is really unprecedented, and it indicates one of the climate extremes. So we can't basically get rid of the climate change. Climate change is there. Only what we can do is either we can mitigate it, reduce it in magnitude, or the best thing is that we adopt to it. So the climate change adaptation is the best way to mitigate or to reduce the impacts of the climate change on livelihoods, on farming community, on orchardists.
Climate change is a global phenomenon. The Arctic ice is melting fast and the sea level is gradually rising. The experts portray a very scary scene of the future. With the rise in sea level, many countries surrounded by sea may completely disappear. Even many coastal areas may go underwater.
Maybe the cause of fossil fuel burning, or overall some kind of deforestation is also taking place, and then more pollution. So obviously the carbon buildup in the atmosphere has gone up. It has gone more than 410 ppm.
Climate change impacts other spheres of life, causing floods, droughts, and other such natural catastrophes. Temperature is constantly rising, and that's a big cause of worry. Melting of glaciers will cause water shortages in many parts of the world. Melting glaciers narrate a very sad story.
If you look at the glaciers of the Jammu, Kashmir and Ladakh, as I said, they are receding, they are shrinking at a relatively higher rate as compared to the glaciers in other parts of the country. Now, if you look at I will tell you the the Kolha Glacier, which is the largest glacier in the Kashmir Valley in the Jhelum Basin, is every year on an average melting 20 meters. And if you look at the shrinking in terms of depth, so it is losing mass almost 1 meter, 90 centimeters, 92 centimeters every year.
Where will the solutions come from? How can the problem be addressed? First locally, then globally. Developed country is not a place where the poor have cars. It's where the rich use public transportation, as 60 people are adjusted in a bus as compared to 5 in a car.
Charity begins at home, so we should start by looking at how much carbon footprint we produce individually, trying to reduce reuse of refrigerators, ACs, and using public commute as much as we can.
If we really want a healthier planet, we will have to mend our ways. We have to be smarter. Kashmir fortunately had a vast green area, but we have destroyed a major part of it. Our valley was green, but we have destroyed that greenery. And we have to restore that charm if we and our generations are to survive.
Climate change is an existential threat to the humanity. And this is the reason, in fact, that triggers many other disasters and catastrophes that we see quite often across the globe. How to deal with these disasters and this problem, climate change, is something that we have been thinking about globally, nationally, and of course locally as well. But under the G20 presidency of India, Y20 provides an important platform, and University of Kashmir has been chosen to be one of the institutions to host this Y20, to engage youth and deliberate upon this thematic area that deals directly with the human existence. It is the climate change, disaster risk reduction, and making sustainability a way of life. If you look at the larger picture, the larger theme of this G20, that one earth, one family, and one future, this so vividly sums up the philosophy of what we call as Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. And I believe having the perspective of youth particularly in the global policy formulations to deal with these existential threats of climate change and disasters would be so pertinent. And I personally would encourage all our bright young minds, nationally and globally, of course, to engage with us, to become active participants in these deliberations that are happening on May 11, say in the University of Kashmir, and ensure that their perspectives and concerns are taken to the G20 policy platform, and ultimately they become part of the policy document that comes up at the end of the G20 major summit that will be hosted in India.
As teenage activist Greta Thunberg said, "Our house is on fire, we know what we have to do to put it out." There is such a thing as moving too slowly. The problem is not just local, it's global. But we have to start from home and take the mission ahead to save our planet. The climate change is not a myth, it's a fact that stares us in the face. Alongside creating new employment avenues for the people at present, we have to think about our future as well. Sooner we take steps, better that will be for us and for our posterity.